your face in here. Hey, everybody. Oh my God. Look who I'm with. I told you. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm early because Debbie and I are going to have dinner in a while. So we're going to do this early. But welcome, everybody. Lisa Winston
Hi,
here.
everybody.
Say hi to Debbie.
Debbie Silber came all the way to LA to see Lisa.
She flew in from New York, and boy, are her arms tired. We've just been chatting for like forever, and boy, can we chat, right? I love it. Oh my God. So you guys, we said we're going to do a topic, just a random topic. And so you guys know that I always talk about Debi, and we always talk about transformation because she's taking her PhD in transformational psychology, and I'm all about transformation, and that's one of the things I love about Debi because she's really serious about getting results with people, not just coaching somebody, but actually having them break through and transforming. So Debi,
Yes.
Let's talk about that. You know, you start out, and then I still want you to explain what you always explain about what transformation really is, how it's messy.
You
right?
know, transformation is very messy. I think a lot of people look at transformation as growth. Growth is great, it's wonderful, but that's not what we're talking about. With transformation, of course, we're never broken, but things happen and we feel broken. Maybe there's a divorce, death of a loved one, disease, devastation of some kind, abuse, betrayal, financial crisis, something that rocks us, that gives us that, just such a crisis. I call it a psychological earthquake. Yes. I don't think that's it's not mine, but I
love that. That's true.
And it's a psychological earthquake because our world gets compartmentalized into two camps, before it happened and after it happened. Right. And we look at these things as the most horrific and traumatic aspects of life. Yes, they are, but they are the most transformative. Sometimes we need to be in that position to see that door that's right in front
Usually.
of us. Yeah.
Right? I mean, how many of these things have we been through?
A few.
A few, right?
A few.
You know, we've been beaten down, but guess what? We're here. We're thriving. That's the cool thing. I mean, you guys oftentimes look at like things that are bad, quote unquote bad, right? Things that are difficult, things that are challenging when you hit rock bottom as something that's really horrible, like it's happening to you, right? And Debbie and I were talking about how life happens for you, and I know that's difficult to understand sometimes, but it really does. It's showing you where you get to grow, and you get to either step in or not.
And that's the hardest thing when you're in the middle of it, to think that there's that this is happening for you. Right. You know, if someone says that to you at that time, it's not going to go over well.
Like you said, they want to just punch you in the face, right?
Yeah,
Shut up.
But when you're going through it, when you're past it, you can look back and see how much benefit there was because of that. And every time we go through something, you know, it's not about avoiding these things. It's about how do you get through, and there's no way out of it but through is where the growth is. It's never from avoiding it, it's never from distracting ourselves, it's from going right through, and you emerge transformed every single time.
And I love it because you were teaching food, you know, fitness and all that kind of stuff, but in reality, you guys, you know, transforming yourself comes from the inner space, and it really has to do with everything. Finances, you know, diet, health, everything that you're doing has to do with transforming at a really deep level your inner stuff, your wounds, your deepest fears, whatever it is, right?
And they all have such a significant piece, because think about it, and this is what I talk about in the book. There are these four main aspects that I've found in everybody I've worked with who's really transformed because of some sort of life crisis. You need support, you know, whether that's from the right coach, the right healer, the right teacher, friends, family. You need that support. You're not meant to go through this stuff alone. It's too hard. You're not meant to do that. A willingness to grow and change, right?
Amen.
I mean, think about it. If you are not willing to grow, how can anything be any different? You have to be. And sometimes when we feel broken, we're receptive to a new way, right? Here's where you need your health too. Think about it. If you're headed for or you're in some sort of health crisis, and you don't have your health to start with, you're that much further behind. Or let's say it's an emotional crisis. Let's say you're going through a divorce or something that's really hitting you hard emotionally, mentally. If you feel good at least about the way you look, and you have your energy because your health is intact, it's going to help you that much more. And then of course mindset. If you go into something hopeless and helpless, and how am I ever going to get through this? Then you're hit with something that's causing you to feel that way anyway. At least if you have that grit, that resilience, that determination, you'll just keep going.
But let's talk about. We talked about coaching, how important it is, how vital it is, because you get accountability, you have somebody hold your hand, you have somebody to kick your rear end, right? Because you won't do the stuff on your own. But let's talk a little bit about your experience with fear, because we know that people, we talked about earlier, that people want to change. They really have a deep desire to change. You guys, neither one of us have our reading glasses on.
I have no idea who's here, but I love you.
Yeah, but love you guys. Thanks for showing up. Oh my God, we're so happy you're here, but we can't read a dang thing without our glasses. So we'll check the comments later. But anyway, we were talking about, what were we just talking about?
Coaching.
Oh, yeah. Fear. So it's like, a lot of people come in and they say they really want to change. They really, really want to change, right? But then they go into this fear space like, I'm not good enough, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, oh, I'm really okay the way I am, I'm going to settle. So let's speak into that a little bit, because everybody goes through fear, and fear is pretty normal. I mean, even you and I still have fear when we're getting ready to up-level. Like, that's very normal.
Always.
But how can people get past that fear to actually go into doing the next step?
There is no better cure for fear than action, period. There just isn't. But there's something really, we stay with what's comfortable and familiar, even if it stinks. Think about it. Those pink fuzzy slippers that you have, right? They're very, very comfortable. But there's something about putting on that great pair of heels. It's a very different feeling. So they both serve a purpose, right? They both have a place. But when we've just resigned ourselves to saying, I'm just going to stay in the slippers because it's just too scary, then we stay safe, stuck, and small. Fear is going to show up. Fear is your invitation to just play bigger.
You know, and I got to say it, okay? I'm going to say it again. Sorry, my hair is tickling her nose.
It's getting stuck in my lipstick.
I love you so much. Woohoo, that's so okay. So anyway, what I was talking to Debbie about was like, and I'm showing up more authentically on Facebook. And I love you guys with all my heart, and I can warm fuzzy you forever and love you forever, right? But guys, if you're not going to do the work, if you're going to sit around and bitch and complain about what isn't working for you in your life, but you're not going to step in, you're not going to commit, you're not going to invest in yourself, you're not going to take action, you're not going to get results, then you don't get to complain, you guys. Really, truly.
Well,
you don't.
And now I've been coaching over 25 years, and I can tell you, I've worked with thousands and thousands of women over the last 25 years. Here's what happens. When you complain, you really are giving yourself permission to say, this is scary, I want to stay exactly where I am. Exactly. And you need someone to pull you right through your comfort zone. Sometimes it's just too hard to do it alone. That's where that life crisis can really serve us, because it forces us to move. Right. Because think about it, why would we move if we don't have to? It's very hard to take that action. But it's only through that action that you make that change, that you gain that confidence, that you feel better. You don't want to be, and I'll say this to my clients, and I'm sure a lot of them are watching right here, where I'll say, could you imagine us having this same conversation 5 years from now, where they're complaining about their health, or they're complaining about a lack of relationship, or they're complaining about some aspect of their life they want to change? We could certainly have this conversation years from now. How is that going to feel?
Yeah, that feels yuck. You know what I mean? You would really want to waste 5 more years of your life, if you even have 5 more years of your life. Debbie and I were talking about that present moment awareness, right? I mean, really and truly, we're promised now, right now, right? 30 seconds from now, well, I could just drop over on this Facebook Live, right?
Well, let's hope not.
Well, I hope not, because we have to have dinner first, so, right? But I mean, really, you guys, why waste any more time? If it's just taking action, stepping in, and again, there's no magic pill, right? And like Debbie and I were talking, that this journey goes on and on and on. It never ends. Like you're never going to get to a destination. You're going to get better and better and better by taking the baby steps.
And I think someone said change is hard. That's what that says.
Oh, you see
change is very hard.
Change is
It's very hard, but that's why it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be. You know, I used to have this saying, nothing good comes easy. I don't like that saying anymore. Yeah. But what I do like is easy now, hard later. Hard now, easy later. Take your pick. It's going to be one of those two. Yeah. So just because it's hard, I would just change that word to unfamiliar.
I love that.
Because think about it. It's not necessarily that it's so hard. It's that it's so unfamiliar. Right. We stay with what's so familiar, even if it stinks. So if you look at something new as, it's not that it's hard, it's very, very unfamiliar. And maybe that's the whole thing. Make the unfamiliar the familiar.
And I love that. You know why? Because we were talking about unknown. Like, people always have this spin, right? That the unknown is scary, and it's bad, and it's big, and it's going to take you down. But what if you spin that? Like, what if the unknown is holding treasure for you, and you get to grow, and you get to change, and you get to have ways of being that you've never had before that really move you in the direction that you want to go?
And you know what it looks like? Remember, and all of you watching, and I'm sure you too, there was a time when maybe you wanted to desperately dive off the diving board, jump off the diving board, right? And you were terrified, and you were hemming and hawing, you were going back and forth, and then something happened. Something happened, and you jumped. And think about what happened after that. Whoever took you to that pool, they couldn't bring you home because you found bliss, and it was right past your comfort zone. That's what goes on. So if you look at every single thing you're doing now, you know, you, me, all of us, we stunk at the beginning. It's just the way it goes. It was scary, it was uncomfortable, but we did it, and because of it, we mastered it, and it gave us confidence to do the next thing.
And I love that. Because every time you take that action, every time you take that one step, and it doesn't have to be a huge step, just a baby step. Every time you take that baby step and you actually are successful with it, or you get beyond it, or you do it, I call it the Rocky moment, right? You have that Rocky moment where you're like, oh my God, I did it. And then that builds your inner grit, your inner fire, your courage, your tenacity, your strength, your belief in yourself, your confidence. And that's when you start making more steps, and you get more, you know, it's just this process of doing one thing and getting more confident.
And I would absolutely, and I would invite everybody really to even just, you know, sometimes we think, well, journaling's a waste of time and whatever, but I would invite you to journal all of those things that you really overcame. And you do that because the next time something comes up that you feel like, oh, there's no way I can do that, you take out that journal of all those things that you did, and you're like, wow, you know what, I did this, I did that, I did that. That's how, and we were talking about this is the way I use health now in my business, where yes, we're going to be working on mindset and we're going to be working on transformation, but when those things feel too hard, I may have them break a sugar addiction, which they say, oh, well, I can never do that. And then they do that, and they're like, wow, I look what I did. So I look and say, if you just did that, look what else
you can do. Anything. I love
it.
that. Yeah. And you know what, guys? I don't want to put a negative spin on this whole thing, but Debbie and I were also talking about this. She and I both have been through a lot of stuff, right? Like a lot of us. We've had a lot of wounding, we've had a lot of incidents, but the thing is like, and I'm not going to share your moments, but I'm going to share my moment, which was truly after about 50 years, the wildfire hit, and 2 months later, the breast cancer, okay? So you don't have to have the universal 2x4 hit you across the head, right? I mean, if you need that, apparently I needed that. I was very stubborn, and I was trying to find the way, but I wasn't listening. If you guys know that you have this internal desire to change, or you want to start a business, or you have a mission in the world, or whatever it is that you want to do, right? If you have that hit, then you get to take action on it in whatever capacity that means. Getting a coach, you know, just researching, taking a course, whatever it is. Because if you don't, I'm telling you right now, if you have stuff that you get to address, or you need to address, if you don't deal with it, and it's going to keep coming back because the universe, right, keeps coming, bringing you the same lesson until you get the message. If you don't, and I'm not trying to scare you guys, but it's true.
And I think that's why you can teach at the level that you do, because you've been through it. You know, it's very hard, and I think a lot of coaches and a lot of teachers struggle with being authentic, because they haven't lived it, they haven't experienced it. When you've gone through something, there's a knowing, there's a depth to you that you didn't have. There's a wisdom, there's a raw, I don't know, it's like a fire, a fearlessness that you only have from experiencing these things. I mean, I think that's wisdom.
Well, thank you. It's true. So it's twofold. I mean, you don't have to have that happen.
No.
But when it happens, again, a lot of people complain about how they're victims of fate or whatever. And for me, I love that Debbie brought this up, because we were talking about how I always shared my story, but then I stopped sharing my story so much because I didn't want to seem like I'm bragging about something, or I didn't want to use that, like your experiences don't really always define you in certain respects, right? But they can, because she's right. I mean, I wouldn't be who I am now, and I wouldn't be standing in my extreme authenticity and showing up on Facebook, right, doing stuff that people are like, what? Right? Because I know who I am at a really deep level, and I feel the most powerful and aligned and strong that I've ever felt before. So you can use it for good too.
It's so true. And I think I see so many people where they're so desperately trying to distract themselves from who they really are. And that's why we numb and distract through food, alcohol, drugs, work, TV, keeping busy. Keeping busy was mine.
That's
I could not be busy enough.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I
You can do anything you want. You do whatever you want.
I would invite you to you may want to write these questions down. That's my way of saying write these down. Okay. So what am I, am I numbing or distracting myself? Are you using food, work, drugs, alcohol, TV, keeping busy to not look at something? And you are by, if there is that quiet moment, if you try to fill it. Right? Are you afraid to be by yourself? The second thing is, what am I distracting myself from? In other words, what am I pretending not to see? Are you trying not to see that relationship issue? Are you trying not to see that you hate your job? Are you trying to? Are you trying not to see that you're so unfulfilled and there's this calling to do something so much bigger? And then I would ask you this: what will life look like in 5 to 10 years if you keep this going? What's it going to look like if you keep this up? If you keep ignoring that health issue? If you keep ignoring that relationship issue? If you keep numbing yourself? And then here's the big one: how could life look in 5 to 10 years if you make these changes?
I love that. And yeah, I love that. Because again, I want to spin a mindset thing. You know, oftentimes we talk about what we don't have, right? And what you focus on, you make bigger. If you don't have something and you focus on not having it, you're going to surely get more of it, right? So what I like to do is, I don't know if it's Abraham Hicks or whatever, but I've heard a lot of these sayings over the years, and I like to use them. And that is, start spinning your language. Like, wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if this happened for me, or this changed, or this was happening? Or you can just pretend that it's already happening. You know, now that I am making money, now that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so spin your language, because a lot of it too is mindset, speech, thought, right? We create by all those means.
Oh, absolutely. And along those same lines, what I have a lot of my clients do is, you know, with some people, affirmations is really tough. Like, for example, let's say there's a 400-pound woman. For her to say, I'm a lean, mean 125, right? The brain's like, no, you're not. Kicks it right out. So I like to do what's called a bridge. And a bridge is a believable thing that you can say to grab onto, so you could slowly lay down a new track in your brain. So let's just say that same woman, let's say she's eating healthier every day. Isn't it fair to say, I'm eating healthier every day, I'm eating healthier every day? And what happens is, over time, that old belief loses its charge. The new one takes hold. That becomes the new belief. But you know, I thought about that, because when you say changing your language, sometimes we can't really, we struggle with how do you configure this bridge. Sometimes it's just opening up the door to possibility. Like, if in your head you say all the time, I can never get out of debt, I can never get out of debt, you insert a what if I could, what if, what if, and when you say that enough times, that becomes the new belief.
But you have to say it, guys. Debbie and I were also talking about how the fact that people buy programs and they try things, and you know, they're given processes or whatever. We're always looking for
such nice things.
Oh, are they? I'm glad you can see it. Oh God, I love you guys. Oh, we have so much fun together. You have no idea. I think that we're going to keep this going, fun. You know, really, truly. Oh my gosh. So thank you for all those nice things. But anyway, you guys, if you commit to doing something, because so many people start, right? And they do it for a day or two, or they do it for a week, and they're like, well, I didn't get any results. Guess what, guys? I was just talking to Debbie. I'm not really sure what it is now. It used to be 30 days, 60 days or something like that. I think it's even longer to create a new habit, a new groove in your brain, like Debbie was talking about. And so you've got to consistently show up and just do one thing. Like, don't commit to 5, right? Do one thing. Absolutely. Practice it over and over and commit to doing it for weeks or a couple of months, so that you can start seeing the shift, because you will shift if you do that. Absolutely.
And this is what was that book, The Compound Effect, 1% Rule, all these different things. And I even did a video on this, and it was about how when you do something, like, let's say, you know, you decide, I'm going to start working out in the morning. And the next day, you don't see anything. Right. You don't see any changes, right? And maybe even the next day and the next day. But over time, you're going to see something big. But, you know, think about it. And they always use this example of, let's say, a pilot going off course 1 degree. Now, I don't know the numbers, but you're going to wind up somewhere where you didn't land. Right. So just by that 1 degree. Yeah. So 1 degree in the right direction or the wrong direction over time has a huge impact.
It does. It really does. Oh my God, I love that so much. Oh my goodness, you guys, are you getting this? Do you guys have any questions? If you have any questions, hey Leah, how you doing? She's one of my clients. Oh. Jennifer, Carrie, Leck. I don't know who else is here. If you guys have any questions for Debbie or me,
I'm here. Fire away.
We're here, baby. I'm getting hungry. I don't know about you. Debbie just flew in yesterday. She's on New York time.
I think I had about 2-3 extra meals because I don't even know.
Well, it doesn't show.
But I bring my own bars. You know, it's what I do.
Right, she does bars, right? I know. If you don't have any questions, that's so cool. If you do, just pop them in there. Hey, Angel, how are you? Okay. So, what do you want to talk about now?
You know, I don't know.
I don't know either. No questions. I think we covered.
Good?
I don't know. I don't know how many minutes.
You know what? I would just invite you to just check in. Is there a message? Is there something that you haven't been paying attention to, something you've been wanting to do, something that you've been waiting to change, something that just wasn't right, what isn't sitting right, isn't feeling right, and it's this like sort of gnawing, it's gnawing at you.
And you know what that feels like.
And here's what I would say, regrets stink.
Oh boy.
They just do. Regrets stink.
Yeah.
So, you were talking about me going back to school. It's true. This PhD is hard.
Yeah.
But I don't think this way anymore. I'm writing papers with sightings and resources and whatever, references.
Yeah.
But you know what? Regrets stink. And I'm sure somebody watching is like, oh, you know what? I've wanted to do whatever it was.
Oh, okay. We're not done yet. Two things I want you to talk about, because this is you guys know I talk about Debbie all the time because she's like this freaking amazing example. Okay, so two things I want you to speak into. Number one, I want you to talk about what you told me on my summit, which impacted my life profoundly, about what transformation really is, you guys. Okay, she's going to share that. And then what I'd like you to share with briefly is, because I tell people all the time about your animals and your kids and your coaching and your speaking
it's
and your
the most impressive part about me,
and
really.
your PhD.
Forget the other stuff.
Travels and all that. She's here with me. She's spending the afternoon with me, and she's like a busy freaking woman, right? But people always go, well, how does she find the time? She makes it. But anyway, so if you can talk a little bit about transformation right now, I would love that.
So transformation for me, it's an easy visual. And you know what it is? It's like, think about, you will never look at a caterpillar the same way again.
I love this.
The caterpillar, on a random Tuesday, makes a decision. I'm done. I'm so done with being a caterpillar. I'm just done with this. It doesn't just say, you know what, I want to be a butterfly and stick wings on. It doesn't work like that. The caterpillar, whatever day that decision is made, stops eating, latches onto a branch. Think of the symbolism here. Dies to the life it's known. Spins a cocoon around itself. It's dark. It's lonely, I imagine. Right?
Scary.
Really right?
Scary.
Think about what it says. It is deconstructed, emulsified, unwilling to live life as that caterpillar. Because it's willing to go through that, it emerges as one of the most magnificent creatures on our planet, the butterfly. And just like some of you, if you didn't go through that messy divorce, you wouldn't be with your soulmate. If you didn't lose your job, you wouldn't do the work you love. If you didn't get that disease, you wouldn't have that love and appreciation for life. Yeah. So that caterpillar can't be that butterfly without going through that process. To me, that's transformation.
And I love that. The word that really always got me was emulsified, you guys. If you look it up, it's liquefied. It's indistinguishable in its shape and form before. It is completely wiped out, like liquefied. Liquefied.
Yeah.
Like, it's messy. You've always said transformation is messy.
It is messy.
Not to scare you away.
There's nothing graceful about it. And think about it. When you've been in the midst of yours, and I know when I'm in mine, it is messy. It's ugly. It's uncomfortable. It's scary. It hurts. There's nothing good about it. And it's that process. But you can't avoid it.
And so share the flip side, because when we get, like Debbie and I were talking about, you guys, that I'm on this joy kick, right? This bliss bubble, which everybody's like gagging. Oh my God, she's so joyful all the time. Shit. So seriously, we all want to get to joy and happiness, right? Or we say we do. And I was one of the most depressed, anxious, screwed up people on the planet for 50 years, right? When you start having those moments of joy and bliss that just pop in, it's divine. It's something you've never felt, you've never been able to hold. And you're on your face in tears because you're just like holding the space of bliss, which is what you want to get to. This is the outcome of doing the work. I mean, I've been doing it, and I'm having that. What I tell you, 85% of the time, I'll be like it'll just happen, and I'm like so up and hyper and joyful. This is what you want to get to. This is why doing the work is so important. And let me tell you, I've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of work, but because the energy support us, just in the last year, 6 months alone, I feel that the energy and the vibrations are so high that you guys can do this work a lot faster than Debbie and I did. It took us so many years. I think it's happening at warp speed if you decide to, jump in and do it. But there are benefits to transforming you guys.
Absolutely. But you know what? And everybody's different. And with some people, it takes days, weeks, months, years, decades. The truth is, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Whatever your process is, get the support that you need. It does take a rewiring.
It does.
It truly does, because you cannot bring your old thinking, your old ways, your old everything. I call that rear view mirror thinking.
Right, I love that.
Where it's like, here you are, you have this huge front windshield in front of you, and we're looking in the rear view mirror about our past.
Right.
So we can't help but just recreate that.
Right.
And transformation really allows us to be in that place where it's sort of like, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible because it can't get worse.
Right.
Anything's possible.
And I love the thing that you said earlier, and I agree with it too, is that, if you stay where you are, it may be hard, but it's harder to stay where you are. It's harder to stay immersed in that shit, and that feeling of heaviness and dissatisfaction and sadness and all the trauma. Like, you and I were talking about a lot of the things that, like, just recently, you've been going through a lot of stuff. And again, I'm not going to share yours, but I'm going to share mine, and that is disconnecting from things that don't feel aligned with me anymore, because now I know better. I know when something feels dramatic, right? I get to let that go. I get to let that shit go because it doesn't serve me and it doesn't feel good, and I don't really need drama in my life anymore.
And you know what? And I've been working on this with a lot of my clients, and I experienced this many times, and I'm sure a lot of people watching have too, where you're in this place of growth, and it becomes very uncomfortable, because think about it now. You're off in this new direction, whatever that means for you, and it's throwing off the people around you.
Yes.
And what happens is it's like this dynamic. It's like everything kind of worked where you felt bad, and so did they. And then all of a sudden, because you had a lot in common, and then all of a sudden you start taking off, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and then you have this thing going on.
Yes.
Where they're like, what's up with you?
Right.
And you're like, I didn't sign up for that. And it's this big, it's very, very uncomfortable. So here's what a lot of people do. They say, oh wow, this really is uncomfortable, and they sabotage themselves.
Right.
So they stay right here, and so everybody's comfortable. But here's what happens too. When you do that, a lot of bitterness, a lot of resentment. So what I invite you all to do is, do not stop your climb. It's gonna call everybody to a higher place. They're gonna have to step up their game, but you also need different friends over here too.
Right.
Growth friends.
Yes, you do.
People
and
who
it's
get
so
you.
amazing. We were talking about that. Like, Debbie and I, oh my God, I love her so much. And she gets me, because we were talking about how weird we are. We're kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
We have this very specific view, and we know what we're here to do, and like, we're true to that. We walk that. No matter how lonely we've been in the past, no matter how many people don't agree with us or think we're strange or whatever, we are true to our path. We're like on fire about it. Like, there's no veering from it at all. And it's such a gift to have like-minded people and soul family who get you. Like, there's such joy. Like, we were sitting here talking for how long?
A long time.
And just like hyper, like through the ceiling, joyful,
Well, you feel like you landed on your planet.
I said I felt like I was home.
Absolutely.
I'm home.
You feel like you landed on your planet when people get you. They just understand. And it's not going to be those people who, maybe they're well-meaning, maybe they're not, but it's very energetically draining. They're those energy vampires. Yes. Oh, what are you doing that for? That's crazy. That'll never work. Well, I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to, are you really?
Yeah.
And you have to understand, though, people are seeing it through their lens, and they can't help it. But when you have that vision, when you have that dream, when you have that desire for something so much bigger, sometimes it's better just to either keep it to yourself or share it with the people who understand you. Because if you're feeling self-doubt, and you're on the fence about something, those naysayers will have you questioning every single thing.
Absolutely.
And you'll back out of it in no time. But if you get that support from people who get you, it's the air you need to help you fly.
And the more you do the work, guys, the more those people show up, and the more the people that don't need to be in your life drop away. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted you to address one more thing, because we could talk like for 2 hours. I think 2 more hours. Oh my God, we could talk all night. Okay, so but I gotta let her go to bed soon, because she's still on Eastern time. So, but you're looking pretty good.
Let's have the glasses on.
Yeah, I know. I know. Me too.
Okay.
So I just wanted you to share briefly. Okay. I know we're fitting a lot of stuff in here, but I don't have her with me all the time. So, oh my gosh. Okay. So I wanted you to talk about your schedule, because a lot of people are freaked out, right? We're all busy.
Yeah.
And there is time management, time scarcity stuff going around. But when people come to me and they say, well, I got a job, like I can't do these practices because there's no time. And I say, pooey. It's not about having time, it's about making time. And so, Debi Silber, with your very busy life, what do you do to create a schedule that works for you?
And first of all, don't we make time for things that we want to make time for?
Yeah. Well, you've got freedom. Look, you're here. She's here now. She's not working right now.
Yeah. And I'm here. And this was the scenario. Well, I have. Okay. So I'm married. I have 4 kids. I have 6 dogs. I'm in a PhD program,
I
and I
like 18.
run a
feels
business.
like 18.
So there are a lot of things that I'm doing, but I came out here, one of my kids was taking a trip leaving from LA. So I flew her here, and then I thought I'm going to put her on the plane and see Lisa and just do as much work as I can while I can. It's really about just managing your time well. Now, I'm not saying that I do everything really well. I just do the things that I love. So if you were to come to my house, I would not recommend you go into my kids' rooms. That would really be a bad idea. You know, if I'm cooking a meal, I'm going to use 5 ingredients or less. It's just the way it is. If something,
simplify, right?
That's it. Yeah. With pre-planning just my life, anything, I'm gonna keep it simple.
Yeah.
But it's a way that can work for me.
Yeah, I love that.
Not for everybody,
right.
But I don't want to miss something. Like with this PhD program, it's grueling, but I love it. So like while I was, you know, before I saw you, I was working on schoolwork because I just, you know, that had to get done. Then I'm doing what I can where I can.
So you're chunking out your days for the most part.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when you're home and you're running your business and you're coaching or whatever you're doing, right? You chunk out your days though, because I mean, she gives time to her family. They travel. I mean, she has a husband and kids, and like I don't have a kid, and sometimes I have time scarcity. My kid, well, I have a kid, but I don't have any small children at home. My daughter's grown, so for me, I really don't have anything that's holding me back. You have a lot of things that you get to manage.
Well, and you know what it is too. This is again where that regrets stink. Where it keeps me it keeps me in, you know, from doing a lot, and because I know, and that was always an issue where I could have done way more with my business, but I wouldn't have been home for the kids.
Right.
So I work from home. You know, so I'll do it like that, and I'll just make my life work around no regrets as best I can.
I love that.
That's really
no
it.
regrets, you guys. I love that.
Simple,
you can have
right?
it all.
Well, and very often, you know, it's not at the same time. You know,
that's true.
You know,
Yeah.
not when the kids were young, it was not time to blow up my business.
Right.
It just wasn't.
Right.
But as they get older, you know, and as more of them are driving, they just need me less and less. So I'm very present when I can be. You know, can I teach a little bit about work life?
You do whatever you want, my love.
Because here's something that really jammed me up for a long time. I thought I need to strive for work-life balance. It seemed like the most, you know, amazing thing we should strive for. And can we just agree that it doesn't exist?
Right.
Let's
no
just
balance,
get that on the table. Okay, get that on the table. And then I realized, you know, what happens is if I'm trying to be 100% with my work and 100% with my family, I realize I'm 100%, I stink across the board. And I thought about it one day and I said, what would happen, and I'm not good with this all the time, but what would happen if I'm 100% in the space I'm in?
I love that.
So if I'm with you, I'm 100% with you.
Present
and because
moment,
of
baby.
it, I don't feel, you know, I feel good. I feel, you know, like it was just so full and complete. And then I could be 100% in the next space and 100% in the next space. I'll tell you, as far as even work goes, bringing that idea to my work, I am so much more focused and productive. Because think about it, when you're doing your work and then you're checking Facebook and then you're writing an email, you're all over, right? And I did this many times. Yeah. I'd be writing an email, going in downstairs and stirring something on the stove, answering a kid. It's like all over, and I stunk at everything. But 100% in the space you're in.
Yeah, I love that. Again, present moment, you guys. Enjoy what you're doing when you're eating a mouthful of food, and, you know, chew it and savor it. I mean, seriously, it sounds goofy, but I love what you just said, because it's like, you've been with me, and she's been fully present with me for hours, right? And it's not like she's thinking, oh my God, I have to go do blah blah blah, right? Not at all. We're gonna go have dinner.
Also, because you're really fun. That's why.
I have my moments. You don't see me all the time, but I love you. You're fun too.
That's why.
But yeah, I love you. Oh, I love her so much. Oh my God. So yeah, I love the present moment, and I love that you're actually not giving them a strategy around so much chunking out your day, but doing what you love to do. Being in the present moment and doing it, and
every day is different. There may be one day where it's got to be a full-blown, you know, dedicated to one thing, and that's okay. And another day is going to be different. It's really, you know, I think I've gotten so used to, you know, in hospitals where they triage, you know, the one who's bleeding is going to take priority over the one who just says something hurts. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think in my head, I'm always triaging. What can I do that's going to make the most impact and at this moment? And it could be something like, I have Wi-Fi now. What can I, you know, what can I do? And when I don't have Wi-Fi, I can do this.
That's true.
But it's really, it's sort of triaging.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Oh my God, you guys, isn't this fun? Like, I don't ever want to do a Facebook Live now without you. I just want to have you. Oh, you know what? They do have that Facebook thing where you can, you know, do it from long distance.
Well,
so maybe we'll have to do a couple more of these. when I can nail you down.
All
you
right,
know.
all
All
right.
right, you guys. So, oh my gosh, everybody, thank Debbie for being here. It's so amazing. And do you see any? I don't see questions. I see a lot of comments, which we will we'll look at. Can you see that? We'll have our glasses and we'll respond because we both have it on our page, and Debbie will answer whatever. Okay, so make sure that you post your questions or comments, and we'll get back to you. Not tonight.
Yeah. But maybe tomorrow on the plane.
Maybe tomorrow.
I won't have Wi-Fi. I have to do something else. But when
she's on the plane, and when tomorrow when I'm back at my
early
office,
in the morning, I'll have Wi-Fi.
Early, okay,
before I leave.
Yeah, so we'll get to you. I promise. Okay. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. Debi Silber. Debi Silber.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh my God, I love you so much. All right, you guys. All right, have a great night. We'll talk to you soon, and thanks for showing up early. I know. Oh, what does that say? What can you do with what you have where you are in this moment? My mantra. I love that.
I like that too.
I do too.
I like that.
All right. We're going to go eat now. All right, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya. Thanks, guys. Bye.